Concert landscape in Northeast Florida just got a bit more competitive. The St. Augustine Amphitheater announced some changes today. They're hoping those changes will keep it in the running for big-name performers, along with Daly's Place and the Florida Theater here in Jacksonville. Jessica Clark is on your side tonight with what changes are coming.
The St. Augustine Amphitheater has drawn crowds and bands for more than a decade. Now it's changing its branding to simply The Amp, something updated to stay fresh.
People refer to it as The Amp all the time, not just locally, but across the state of Florida, spreading across the southeast United States and within the concert industry.
Diana Markovitz with The Amp announced Wednesday the venue is also getting bigger.
And the amphitheater has added 700 new seats, which brings the seating capacity now to 4,700.
That allows us to compete more for those artists that may or may not teeter between, the 4,000 and 5,000 seat venue.
And in Northeast Florida, artists have a lot of venue options that really range in size. The Florida Theater seats 1,900 people. The St. Augustine Amphitheater, or the AMP, now has 4,700 seats. Daly's Place has room for 5,500 people. The Veterans Memorial Arena sits 15,000. And TIAA Bank Field is the daddy of them all at 67,000, pulling in concerts like the Rolling Stones. Even on the smaller capacity end of the spectrum, and with all those options, the St. Augustine Amphitheater continues to receive kudos.
We ranked in the top 5 for amphitheaters worldwide last year with Pollstar magazine, and that really just kind of solidified our place as saying, we're a player.
Daly's Place, opening in 2017, made the amphitheater scene on the First Coast a bit more crowded, but it and the St. Augustine Amphitheater still sell out shows.
If one venue gets an act that we wanted, or we get an act that someone else wanted, that's okay, because that act is still coming to North Florida, and we're still on their radar. The competition just kind of increases the strength of each competitor.
In St. Augustine, Jessica Clark, First Coast News on your side.